Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo. You tuned into another live edition of TLDR, the Lockergnome Digital Report, because I'm coming to you digitally with my digits. That's what I use to tap the little touchpad thing there. That's what it does. That's my sound. That wasn't the sound of the laptop. I don't know if you knew that. Just wrapped up a live video about the new conspiracy that Apple is artificially hindering performance in devices that it needs to actually hinder performance on because they have bad batteries. The solution to the problem is you watch that video. I'm simply telling you, because I know a lot of people probably already watched the video, get a new phone. Or get a new battery. Or just get angry at the sky for not delivering to you a perfect world. So this is TLDR. Time for you to ask me questions. Ask me anything. And if you don't have any questions to ask, I will stop streaming. It's pretty much that simple. It's kind of creepy how realistic Cartoon Chris's face is. Well, thank you very much. I'm not exactly sure that's a question, but okie dokie. Sounds good to me. You can earn gift cards courtesy of go.tagjag.com/free points. It's what I used today to be able to get a Target exclusive pop, the Porg. There's a Porg pop that has wings, like that are splayed out. I hadn't seen it at all because they got snapped up, and today they ended up getting a new supply, a new run of the Target exclusive sculpt of the Porg. I don't have it with me. The only thing I have here is from Randy K, who got something from my wish list. I just showed it in the other video. The Stormtrooper set. What's the box title here? Give me a second. It is the Ultimate Trooper Pack. And see, I'd be inclined to keep it in the box, but you can see that this particular band, it looks like it was bent. It's a neat way of displaying a trooper, with the pack. Look, you got this is like for the ultimate toy photographers, right here. Oh, speaking of toy photography, huge news, because my Instagram feed is pretty much dominated by toy photography. If you post a photo and I'm following you on Instagram, and it's not toy photography or Star Wars or Lego, and I see that a few times, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna unfollow. I know you, and you may be a nice person, but you don't take photos that I find all that compelling. Instagram launched a new feature today that allows you to follow hashtags, which I think is huge, especially for those who like to follow a certain hashtag and don't have an easy way of doing it. Now you can. Moreover, it's going to make it easier for you to potentially even engage with communities around hashtags, even if you don't happen to have a lot of followers. I think it's huge news. I don't Instagram as much as I do other things right now, for a lot of different reasons. But I think that was some pretty big news. Super cold in Montreal, Star Wars in 24 hours. Yes, that's exactly where I'm going to be, and for the most part, I'll be concentrating on that. My firepower is laser focused. I guess I'm going to a special showing. I don't know. I think I get an exclusive something or other. Not that that's amazing. I think I would have preferred to go to a double feature where they play The Force Awakens right before The Last Jedi. I think that would be pretty freaking cool. To be able to roll from one movie into the next, that would be outstanding. I'd like to do that in theaters, actually. If I have a chance at some point in the near future to catch them back to back in the theater, I will. Let's see here. Did you see New York Attorney General Eric T. Schneiderman new post just now about fake net neutrality comments? I missed it, but I know the story. I did bring this up even in my recent net neutrality video. A lot of statements that are for the repeal of this regulation. The comments have been faked. Even the counter arguments can be not debunked, but effectively mitigated through counter arguments to the counter arguments. The bottom line is that what we have in place now may not be perfect, but it stopped a lot of things from happening. And to see that lifted for random reason is inviting disaster. But, I tried warning y'all about a lot of this stuff last year and went through one ear and out the other. So I'm tired of wasting my breath on it. Zach Brajawi, question to follow says, all right, do you think tech companies should be paying microtransactions to its users every time their data is used to earn the company money or for product research analytics? Would it encourage more engagement with services and willingness to offer up data? Yeah, as much as I'd say that's great, it's also, something that's never going to happen. Your data is not your own, and the chances of you ever getting your data back are between slim and none, because there's big money in data, and you're not in control of any of it at all. And if the company can save 5 cents, the company's going to save 5 cents because they have shareholders or they have a profit margin. They have employees. You're not their employee. You're the product. Why do you think they're going to give the product money? Do I think? Oh, yeah, I think that would be amazing. I think that would be stellar. I think people should be in control of their data. That doesn't work that way. I think users should be paid for what it is that they're putting out there, but that's not how it works. You are the product. You don't pay a product. So your mind's in the right place, Zach, but that's it's a very idealistic way of looking at how that situation could play out. And I would be shocked if that were ever to happen. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone's got to pay the piper, and ultimately you have to know your place in the chain. And so there's big money around this, and it's predicated on certain constructs that would be difficult, if not impossible, to topple. Not to say that it's not possible; it's just not probable. I think it would benefit most people, but businesses aren't necessarily in the business of benefiting most people. They're in the business of benefiting themselves. That means creating a compelling experience that benefits most people. Fine, that's their, that's their game plan. But there's just too much money wrapped up in data that you don't control, and nor would you, even if you had the chance to control it. You probably wouldn't know what you were doing with it as much as other people do. That's why they get paid the big bucks. And you don't get paid squat for the data that you generate. Let's see here. It would kind of be like how musicians are paid when their music is sampled by another artist. Yeah, but that... I don't know if I'd look at data creation as creation, like a creative product, because the music's the product. You're not paying the music, you're paying the artist. In the case of data, the data is being generated by you, the product. You are the product in that sense. The data is the output. So I'm not sure if it fits exactly. I understand where you're coming from with the analogy, and I suppose you could make the argument that it's similar, but I'm not sure I see it the same way. And I'm more than confident the industry doesn't see it that way. There's too many players. It's not just one company. It's several companies, and it's not in their best interests to be more open, nor is it in their best interest to do any kind of profit share with their product. You are in control of your data? No, you're not. Just don't participate. No chance of doing that. I'm okay with it, but if someone has a problem, there's an easy solution. No, see, it's J-Hockey 17. It's a very idealistic thing to say, but you don't know the things that companies know about you, that entities know about you. You don't know the things that you do. You think you're off the grid. You're not off the grid. You're squarely on the grid. It's completely not in your hands. There are things that you can not do overtly, to keep yourself from having a paper trail of sorts, a digital trail, certainly. But, it's not as cut and dry as you would make it seem. It's like I said, it's a very idealistic thing to say, but just too many things. There are too many things, and speaking of too many things, the Internet of Things is... Oh, it's a great way of making you even more of a product. Congratulations. YouTube personalities are rewarded for the number of viewers they can attract to their videos because this helps make Google money. It is, and YouTube's an anomaly. It's not a rule. And Twitch, I guess, to a certain degree, is an anomaly as well, in the sense that creators are getting paid for what value they're driving. The problem is it creates a very tenuous relationship when the value of said content is contingent on how many people see it. So the value of my video that I'm doing now isn't related to what it is that I'm saying, how I'm saying it, even how I'm presenting it. It all boils down to how many people are watching, if we're talking about a traditional model. So you'd have ads that would run. I might make $2. That's horrible. I made more money even after Google's 30% cut of your $5 super chat, $3 from Zach. Got me more money than I could earn from this very video of talking about this very thing in the questions, answering your very questions, based upon community support more than the infrastructure support. That's the nature of the beast. Organic engagement is another conversation that we could talk about, and how it's going to continue to dwindle for a greater degree of creators, and the onus is on each one of them to know how they're going to effectively be able to handle it. To the point where even as I introduced this video, the Lockergnome Digital Report, when I decided a few months ago after the release of the iPhone 10, I'm like, well, maybe people are ready to talk about this stuff again. I said, all right, well, there are a lot of topics we can dive into. People miss TLDR. Let's bring it back. I'm not so sure that's working. So it may very well be the case that the TLDR type of broadcast moves to weekly, not daily, because it takes time. I spend as much time as needs to be spent every day answering questions. But if the questions aren't there, or if the audience is ambivalent, they just don't care, I'm not going to continue to do it, at least with the amount of frequency, because it ends up being something that is easy to ignore, which was the problem and one of the reasons why I stopped doing it in the first place. JSal1993 comes in with a super chat and says, "Hi Chris, do you think Apple will become the next Microsoft in terms of not innovating and losing out on the success of their smartphones?" I don't know. I really don't. I think they've already been in that territory. They've already Microsofted themselves. They've been resting on their own laurels. And have been for some time now. So I don't think they're not innovating. I just think that they lack visionary leadership, or a visionary period. Apple certainly doesn't know today how to effectively be the Apple that it once was. That is more than certain. So I don't think that in terms of not innovating, I don't think that's the right focal point for it. And I don't think it's a matter of losing out to a successor. Right now, the closest thing they have to competition is Google or Android, and that's a different model, just like the Mac was a different model than the PC back in the day. Apple's still making money, and until they stop making money, I don't think they're going to change their trajectory. You always got to look at what's ahead, what's the next thing that you could be paying attention to. And so, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, apart from I think they're already there. I think they're already resting on their laurels. Jackie17. Oh, sorry. I'm not saying it can be totally gone. You can control some. Oh, yeah, you can control some of it. Back to the data point. The question started because I read that Google pays translators to translate books such as Harry Potter to foreign languages such as German. Technically speaking, that data would technically be 1 million plus words that go towards Google's translation AI, which the translator would not be paid for whatsoever. Well, it's kind of like Amazon's MTurk, Mechanical Turk, right? So... yeah, having a human adding value, I think it could certainly see value returned, but it's different. It's one company asking for a specific task, not taking advantage of data that can be passed along without any pushback. It's free for the taking. Because there are so many players and there's big money, and you wouldn't even know how to begin to control the data that you don't even have access to, nor could you begin to, because of not just what's at stake financially, but it's a lot to keep track of. It's a lot to keep an eye on, and it unfortunately would upend the status quo. And people with big money and a lot more resources than you or me wouldn't like that at all. I don't know about the Surface thing. I don't care. Hi, Chris. Back in the day, it was MySpace, Bebo, then Facebook took over the world. Do you think there will ever be a new social network that takes over and even compared to Facebook? Sure, it's a possibility. Things aren't there forever. Do you think AI will ever advance to the point where it has some of the same legal rights as a person? I don't know. Sure, I guess. It could be argued either way. Who am I to define what life is? I'm living, I know that. Or am I? Do we really know that? Are we living? I always appreciated Bicentennial Man. That was a good movie. If you, I don't know if I would summarize my thoughts, but if you want, I think a good movie. I don't know if it was necessarily critically acclaimed, but I enjoyed it. Bicentennial Man. JSal 1993 $. Thank you for the super chat. Jack Burjawi. TLDR forever fun. Thank you. I don't know if it'll last forever. Not all things. Like I said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. That's what I keep coming back to. Words are not subject to copyright. Google would have to illicitly combine the words page by page and sell it to violate any laws. Yes, Canada and Archer. I think that's I don't know. I've never watched Archer. I'm getting into watching more of those cartoons late night now that I can't watch Frasier reruns because they're playing those stupid Hallmark movies that are all the same. It's the same people. What here's my summary of every Hallmark Christmas movie. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Hallmark Christmas movies, so white, very white. I ain't talking about the snow either. So, what do you think about of Facebook Watch and creators moving to do series there instead of YouTube? What's Facebook Watch? Are they paying creators now? Because to my knowledge, they haven't. If they're paying creators, that's great. That's amazing. I think they should go to where they would get greater value. I don't see a fault with that. So if that's the case, great. I don't think people care where the video is, as long as the video exists. That's my belief. As long as it's convenient for them to watch wherever they're watching it. I don't think they care about the platform. Creators might, because it's about being able to maximize their time and the results they may receive from the time spent on a particular project. The issue is they're using the data for purposes other than what they paid the translator for. Oh, they're going on about that, yeah. It's an interesting, conversation. I've talked about data and owning one's identity for years, but I just don't know if, despite people championing that as a possibility, we're going to see that anytime soon. Not sure if we have any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and start, winding this trip up. Let's go ahead and circle the drain and pull the plug. I am going to potentially see you tomorrow. If I do anything tomorrow for TLDR, it would probably be late at night after I get home from the theater, if I decide to do it. After doing a couple other videos, the live reaction, or after I've seen The Last Jedi, both a spoiler-free reaction and one with spoilers reaction. Oh yeah, we got a Darth Vader emoji there now. That's awesome. Yay! Because I've never seen Archer, but I have seen Darth Vader. Right? People ask, I mean, not to say it's a silly question, but are you excited for the new movie? I'm like, would I be wearing Darth Vader underoos if I wasn't? Well, the answer to that question is yes, I would be wearing them otherwise. So I'm going to move on, do a video for entrepreneurs, give them some advice, and then geek out about Star Wars, talking about my favorite Star Wars product for this year. I think I can narrow it down, or the best Star Wars product for this year. But thank you for tuning in. I do love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.